Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of Dishing Out Flavor. Today I'm going to be making my crazy spicy chicken. I made an attempt to make it earlier on, but I was trying to use a different flour method and I should have just stuck with my usual because it did not come out right at all. So I'm bringing this video to you guys later, a lot later, but better late than never. Also with that, I found out that I was out of allulose syrup, so I've decided to make my own. And here in this coffee cup, that's what this is. But it's starting to thicken, but it's still hot. As you can see, the steam is coming off. And I'm not going to post a recipe for this. I'm just going to tell you what this is. This is 150 milliliters of water. I heated it for 1 minute and then I added 90 grams of allulose to it. I stirred that in. Then I made a mixture of 10 grams of allulose plus 1 gram of guar gum, and then I quickly stirred that into the hot water. And that's what's sitting here right before you, and I'm just waiting for it to cool. And so after stirring it for that 1 minute, for a few seconds, after that 1 minute, I put it in the oven or the microwave. I'm so sorry, my words are all over the place. I put it in the oven for an additional 30 seconds, and then I took it out, and so now it's just sitting here cooling. And so my theory is that it's going to only get thicker as it cools. So that's what I'm waiting for. And then with this, I'll be able to make my honey butter syrup to go with, or honey butter sauce. I mean, it's still a syrup because then it'll just become a flavored honey butter syrup, or you can call it sauce. So whichever one you prefer, make it your own. This will also be a good way to make like berry flavored syrups. Like if you want to go ahead and add in strawberry flavor or maple or blueberry or blackberry, whatever your favorite flavoring is, you can pretty much add that to this, even lemon, or you can use this as a simple syrup for cocktails. So there you go. All right, so I'm just gonna let this cool, and then I'm gonna go ahead and prep everything else to make my chicken. Okay, so I have my flour together. I have a mixture of almond flour and some tapioca flour. I would normally use arrowroot, but arrowroot have a tendency of becoming soft after a while, so it doesn't really hold the crunch. I mean, not unless you're gonna gobble up the chicken, extremely hot right out of the fryer, which means you're gonna end up with some severe burns. So I don't want to do that. So I have the tapioca flour. It keeps the crisp and the crunch a lot longer. And then you can see this little bit of white powder mixed in. Well, that's my Kitchen Alchemy crisp coat. I didn't really have that much of it left. Normally I'll add about 1 or 2 grams of that. That's probably about maybe half a gram or 1/8 of a teaspoon. So I'm just going to work with what I have. And so this here is a mixture because I'm only going to be doing 1 chicken breast that I'm going to flatten. So it doesn't really take much flour to do that. You can do this with a milk egg batter and then dip it in the flour, or you can just dip the chicken directly into the flour if you want to. It's up to you. So I'm just going to flatten out the chicken, and then I'll put it right into the flour mixture and then into the deep fryer. Normally I would skillet fry this, but when I did that for the other one, I wasn't really good at controlling the heat because I was trying to use less oil, but it just, I don't know what happened. It just became blackened, and I don't mean in that Creole Cajun way of blackened fish or chicken. it was burnt. So I don't want a repeat of that. So I'm just going to throw it in the deep fryer. So if you guys don't want to do that, then, you know, hey, you don't have to. You can do it in the air fryer. You guys have seen me do an air fry version of chicken before, as well as a skillet fried, I think it was the country steak. I don't know if I've actually done chicken by skillet on top of the stove. So I may have to create a different batter for that so I can adjust for the heat. But anyway, so I'm going to do it in a deep fryer. And so I'll be back. Okay, so I have my chicken breast here. And then I have to get out my seasonings. Now I have a wide variety of seasoning. My seasoning cabinet is no joke, guys. I've had family members that has visited my house and have become intimidated by my kitchen cabinet because of all the different seasonings. Some people only have like 5-10 seasonings that they use. No, not the kid, not John Quell. I have a variety. Okay, let's see. We have garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, cayenne pepper. Let's go with a little bit of, I'm going to use my chilies here. And I think we're going to call that a wrap up. We're going to need the Tabasco. Add some extra heat. And I've already have some white pepper into the flour mix. I don't think I need any Sichuan pepper. I think I'm good. Ooh, let's put some of this beer can chicken flavor on there. And we'll call that a wrap. Okay, now, guys, I've said on some of the videos, see, I have my Tony Chachere's, the no salt. So when you guys have the regular Tony Chachere's that you put on your food or in your food, and your food is still missing something, get the no salt one. You know, they even have it in this version too. So you have two different blends. But basically what these do is they add flavor without adding extra salt to your food. So do that for yourselves, because anything that you're fixing, it already naturally contains sodium, a type of salt. So adding more and more and more salt, you're just asking for trouble. Let's not do that. Go ahead and get some salt-free flavorings. You know, you have your Miss Dash blends. I have several Miss Dash in here. You know, so there's a Chipotle one. There's the table blend one, and there's a couple other ones back here as well. You know, so do you guys do yourself a favor and just pick better seasonings for yourself. Know what you're putting on your food. You know, and like I said, then don't forget about your herbs. Your green herbs, I should say, your rosemary, your basil, your thyme, things like that, your sage. I have plenty of that in here anyway, as well as dill weed and stuff like that, you know. So don't be afraid to keep adding different levels of flavor by adding the herbs and spices that you need. They're good for you. Why not use them? For the chicken, I need to squeeze out all the excess water. I have to make that dry, because when I get to using a mallet to make it flat, I don't need it flying out and injecting all over the place and ending up on the floor, or getting ejected into the sink. Okay, so that's looking good. So I have this on an 11 by 13 piece of parchment. Just going to close this over like so. Take my mallet. And I'll be back to show you guys what this looks like. Okay, that's flat enough. I don't need to pound it flat to where it ends up like a sheet of paper, because then it becomes hard to pick up, and you don't want that, because as you're lifting it up, it's tearing, it's shredding into pieces. So let me go ahead and start adding my seasonings. I would say another plus, or at least I deem it a plus, having multiple seasonings in your cabinet, is that you get to make such a wide variety of foods. You're not stuck in one genre of food making. That's why I tell people I cook food from around the world. Whatever I'm in the mood for, I'm able to fix it. I don't have to go buy new seasonings. I don't have to go search out anything, because I've already done that and I already have it available. It's at my fingertips. I already know how to use it. Thank God for my mom, who was a chef, and she taught me all that she knows. So there's that little bit of background there. Because a lot of people ask me, they're like, oh, your cooking looks so professional. Are you a chef? No, but you can say I have the skills of one because my mom was one. All right. Just turn that. I'm going to flip that over and season the other side. Now, this here is paprika, but the first bit of red stuff was the Asian chili powder, and then I'm actually adding ground cayenne to this. Now, you guys can watch your level of heat. If you want to, and you just eyeball it per your taste. There's no wrong or right way to do this. Alright. Okay, for my next layer of heat, I have regular Tabasco, there's a habanero Tabasco, and then I have a scorpion Tabasco. So you know which one I'm going to go for, right? Of course, the scorpion one. But before I do that, well, I had put the paper over and mashed down, hoping what other little moisture that stuffed in the chicken. Well, yeah, it did. It helped it stick. If the seasoning is not sticking to the chicken because you've mashed all of the water out of it, you can spray on a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil, whatever oil it is that you're using. Okay, I'm just gonna rub that in. Flip this over. Do the other side. Yeah. I'm almost out of this one. So next time I go to the store, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and use one of the other ones. Okay. Just gonna let that hang out for a moment. Okay, so I already have one side down. I'm just pressing in, hoping that Now, I don't know about any of you, but when I do a breading for my chicken, I don't count all of that I use, which is why I measure. So after I'm done breading my chicken, I remeasure the amount that I didn't use, and I don't calculate that in my carb count because I didn't use it. Why should I count it? Some people, when they make up their breading, they count every bit of the breading that they measured out, even though they didn't use it. To me, though, that means that's a miscalculation in your net carb count. It could just be me, but you know, that's how I feel about it. So basically what this was 50 grams of tapioca flour and 50 grams of almond flour. So it's 100 grams altogether. And after I'm done getting it packed on the way I want and shake whatever extra off, I'm going to measure the amount I didn't use. And that will not get calculated in. So when you guys see this and the amount that it says will be what was actually was used on this piece of chicken, not the 100 grams of, or the 100-gram blend of the tapioca and almond flour. So just be advised, you've been warned. Okay, so the air fryer is ready. Everything is all raring to go. The oil is nice and hot. Here I have my rack set up with a piece of parchment underneath for after the chicken is done frying. It's good to let the chicken hang out on a rack. A lot of people like to put the chicken on top of paper towels, but then when the oil soaks up the paper towels, then the chicken becomes wet, and then the bottom part of your chicken, or whatever part of your chicken that soaks in that oil, it's not crunchy. So just use a rack and just put a piece of paper underneath, because you have to think about, at your favorite fried chicken places, you don't see paper towels in the baskets. You know, they just have it sitting on top of a rack and it drips down into a pan. But I don't want the mess, so I have a piece of parchment underneath. Over here I have another rack, and I'm just going to let the breaded piece of chicken hang out on this rack, and that way any extra flour falls off, then it's fine. I don't have to worry about that mess, because as you can see, look at there, little bits of the almond flour and stuff is already falling off. Okay, so on here, I'm getting ready to measure all of the breading that I didn't use. And see, I have all of this that's left. Okay, so this is all the flour blend that I didn't use, and that measured up to 41 grams. See, normally when you are battering your protein or whatever, you have to calculate all of that in, but look, wasn't used. And you guys have to remember that for like when you're done with your flour or your breading, whatever, what you discard. You didn't use that, but it's still calculated into your food, you know. So you can continue to do that, but I'm not. It's whatever. Okay, that's frying up, looking all pretty. Let's come back over here and check the syrup. That's nice. Allulose syrup really isn't a thick syrup, and I think this is a really good consistency. Okay, I'm going to give this a quick stir, then heat it up for 30 seconds, and then add my butter. Okay, so with the allulose, the xylitol honey, as well as the honey oil, it still really doesn't mimic actual honey. So this is where I actually use real Texas honey in here. So I'm only gonna put 5 grams. Okay. 5 grams is all I need. That would be equivalent to what I use when I'm baking bread. A little goes a long way. Tea has, I was trying to say I put honey in my tea sometimes, especially when I'm under the weather, because of all the benefits that you get from honey. So, but if you guys, after you use the allulose and the xylitol and the oil, or whatever method you prefer to use, you don't have to use the actual honey. Or maybe you just want to use the actual honey and the allulose and skip the other ones. You can. You do whatever you like. It's according to your taste. Alright guys, there you have it. A nice spicy crisp piece of chicken. I had some biscuits because I made some biscuits also over the weekend. Actually, when I did the lemon sour cream cake, I made biscuits that morning as well. And then I have here the honey butter sauce, which would be great to go over the biscuits as well as the chicken. Let me cut this open so you guys can see what's going on. Okay. Oh, it's the little piece off the end there. Well, you guys may not be able to hear it. There's definitely some crunch there. Not as crunchy as that other one that I made for my trial one when I was testing this recipe. And probably because I had a little bit more, like I said, the crisp coat that really makes the chicken crisp. And I didn't have very much of that this time, so the crunch is not as big, but it's still there nonetheless. Alright guys, well that's all I wanted to show you. Actually, hold on. I wanted to break off a piece of that biscuit so you guys can see as well. Look how good that looks. Isn't that yummy? So good. Alright guys, thank you for joining me for this edition of Dishing Out Flavor. We made my crazy spicy chicken with the honey butter sauce. I'll see you guys when I see you. Thank you and God bless.